This episode is brought to you by Lone Wolf Paintball. They are an amazing online supplier and have been around since the beginning of the game as Michigan's premier paintball field and paintball supplier since 1987. They are rapidly expanding into the online retail space and supplying everything you need to be the best paintball player you can be. They have got it all. Head over to lonewolfpaintball.com and shop all of your favorite brands. And they also boast amazing customer service and will have this out to you with same-day shipping, which is amazing. It's always nice to know that your stuff is on its way immediately so you can start to use it that very next weekend of play. Check out their YouTube, Lone Wolf Paintball, and their Instagram, @LoneWolfPB, and stay up to date with all of their deals and sales. Play the Game podcast is immensely honored to have them on board, and we cannot wait for you guys to check out lonewolfpaintball.com and become a part of their community. Breaking news for NXL Mid-Atlantic Major. This episode is brought to you by HK Army, and they are showing major love to the NXL participants by offering $20 cases of paint to anyone attending the Atlantic City event from June 20th to the 23rd. And that means any teams, regardless of sponsorship, can get Level 5 exclusive tournament paint for only $20 a case, and the new pink shell yellow fill formula is on point. Houston Heat shot at all event in Texas and was one of 3 teams to go into Sunday 4-0, and HK Army is doing everything that they can to make paint more cost-effective for you in Atlantic City. All you got to do to reserve your paint is email my dog, Leopard King, Chad Yaya Boucher, at chad@hkarmy.com to let him know you want $20 cases of paint in AC. Once again, CHAD@hkarmy.com. Email him right now. Do not wait. Reserve your paint before it's gone. This episode of Play the Game podcast is brought to you by Dynasty Sports Canopy Booths, and we are super excited to announce that PTG will be rocking a custom Dynasty booth at all of the Wcppl events, and we cannot wait to see you there. Dynasty also has a crazy deal for PTG listeners that allows you to get a 10x10 foot canopy and frame for only $700 shipped. Dynasty booths use durable 1.6-inch heavy-duty aluminum hexagonal frames, are fully coated to provide waterproof protection, use superior fabric construction, and incorporate full color dye sublimation printing. Get your custom canopy today at DynastySports.com and mention you heard about the deal on PTG to take advantage of getting your $700 custom booth right now. Click the custom tab at DynastySports.com and start designing your booth today.
What's going on, PTG Nation? Thank you guys so much for tuning in and rocking with us. As always, I just got back from the WCPPL. It was an amazing event. As usual, Mike does a phenomenal job. We had a blast. It was incredible seeing everybody there. We really want to thank you guys all for supporting, showing up, and showing love to the PTG booth. Thank you to everybody that participated and came by and did some interviews. We do want to let you know we are very sorry. It was some incredibly difficult conditions out there. It was well over 100 degrees all weekend long. There was nowhere to hide. So we were in the shade. We were in our tent in the booth, and electronics just kept going down. They would continue to overheat. So the iPad would just shut down after about 9 to 12 minutes. So a lot of our segments, they're pretty short. Some of them did get cut off, and we didn't get to finish. However, the content is still very good. Big names on the podcast. We had Mark Cresson, Todd Martinez, tons of divisional players as well. Rainey Stanzik, of course, was on. You guys aren't going to want to miss it. Lots of good content, really fun environment, and as always, we'll see you in the show. We hope you enjoy. All right, without further ado, hop in the show.
That was an insane inside move by Marcelo Margot. Great communication.
And the crowd starts chanting Harmon.
Great shot by all the guys. So Tyler Harmon saved that game.
He came out with 2 wins. Marcelo Margot was on fire.
Cold plunge, doesn't it? The cold plunge? Yeah. I mean, yeah, it definitely has benefits.
Does it do something?
It's about as good as it gets.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Joe
Well,
Rogan,
you cold
Joe
plunge.
Rogan
Let's
won't
go.
stop talking about it. Let's go.
It is. There are definitely health.
But you also
benefits.
have to do the
for your joints, muscle recovery.
red light therapy with the.
You know,
No, he
that's
said cold plunge. No, he says cold plunge plus sauna.
Sauna plus
Yeah,
sauna.
yeah,
Yes.
Sorry, boys. How we doing?
The red light therapy, you know, it's still up for
Yeah,
debate.
yeah.
But anyway, here we go.
We're
We
live,
got
boys. We're live.
PTG,
Let's get it.
PTG out here.
Tyler, where you at? Woo!
Let's go.
We're back, boys.
Live from the Dub C with Mr. H. Let's get it.
As you
Tyler, I was
can
gonna
see,
tell you to bring my gear back, but you didn't.
We got the gear back.
You did not.
No, we don't.
Damn it. Sorry,
gear
boys. Sorry,
bag?
boys.
What gear bag?
No.
I left one that.
Yeah, we got you. We got your gear
I
back.
left one, man.
Yeah.
Kind of didn't make my flight, and asked Tyler to bring it back. This
Okay.
is behind the scenes,
Got
boys,
it.
but we
Yeah.
can keep it. You can delete it, whatever you want. But we like to talk about behind the scenes with HK.
Let's go.
Sorry, boys.
Let's go. So anyway, we finally got the booth. Mark, what
Yep.
do you think? You know,
Dude,
we're
so
some
much
first
better.
timers. You guys obviously are big dogs,
Hey,
but
look, you've been seeing us do this, Marcelo.
yeah, exactly.
We've been doing this since you were a kid.
Mm-hmm.
So look,
100%.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought you were like D6 the first time.
D6,
Yeah,
okay.
D4.
We're like Premier
D5.
now.
You
We're
guys
like
have
Premier.
somehow jumped up to straight like semi-pro.
Yeah, semi-pro.
Yeah,
That's what you
Premier,
heard
right?
it, semi-pro.
So you guys
Premier.
killed it.
Let's go.
You and Tyler are on our goddamn roll, which
Let's
makes
go.
sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
You guys are both professional athletes that
Yeah.
dominate, and I wouldn't expect anything less.
Of course.
So you saw, you learned, and you figured it out
Yeah.
quick. But I love it. The tent looks good. Everything looks great.
Awesome.
You guys got awesome merch.
Yeah.
I was rocking the tank top last night with Sarge.
Yeah, let's
It was
go.
awesome.
If you
Yeah.
win the tournament, you come on the show too. So we're hyped to get divisional stories on here.
Yeah.
Oh, really? So if you
Yeah,
win,
yeah.
you put them on?
Yeah, so we
Hell
have
yeah.
a bunch of players on, you know, we
Doesn't
like to
matter
do
who's
interviews.
sponsored or anything. Yeah, that's good. Just
100%.
growing the
No,
sport
we don't
out here.
care. Exactly.
Play
we
the
don't
game's
care.
growing the sport.
We don't care who's sponsored. That doesn't matter.
yeah.
It's about the players,
Yeah.
right? And you know, HK is actually, you guys do a lot of that as well. Like, I love seeing the social media. You guys are just highlighting paintball. You do a great job.
Yeah,
with
yeah.
it.
You know what I was going to ask you about? Because you were part of this too. Because we started with Crash at the Coast.
Yeah.
And this is when we were a lot smaller of a company.
Right.
And we were able to like kind of
Shout out to Crash.
Crash at the Coast.
What's up, baby?
Oh yeah, we do. Because we kind of did those clinics and all that stuff. You do it with Boston Paintball.
Yes.
Which shout out Boston Paintball. They let us
Yep.
make all the Team USA stuff.
Uh-huh.
We also gave Team USA, just so you guys know, $5,000 to help the players get there.
Amazing.
And do all that stuff. So we donated $5,000 from HK Army. And then because
Awesome.
of that, they're
Thank
letting
you.
us sell some stuff. So that's available on hkarmy.com. But we love Boston Paintball and everything that's going on. So how's the clinics out
Wait,
there?
they can go to where?
Yeah.
hkarmy.com, Marcelo.
Yeah. That USA
Let's go.
merch.
What is he
So-
doing? Did he do a good job out there?
Yeah, Boston Paintball does an excellent
Yeah.
job. Anthony and Lori I mean, they're some of the best paintball patrons you could have.
Yeah.
So each year, summer camp sells out as soon as it opens.
Yeah.
We just got back, and it's
I
like
saw you guys
the
out
young-
there. It looks awesome.
Yeah,
I
the-
get jealous because all the times we were in San Diego and all those like
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
hot
of
spots,
course.
but they do
It's
it
so
at
much
their
fun.
location, right? Is that
Yeah,
what it is?
yeah. And you know, it's 4 days of like really extensive training and
Yeah.
paintball. We go over film at night. Like, it's really high level. It's
Yeah,
really,
yeah.
really good stuff. So couldn't be happier to be part of that program. Again, Anthony and Lori are dynamite. They're just
Yeah.
awesome people to work with.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of great young players that come up through there and have turned pro and are on the verge of turning
We
pro.
saw one
so-
that you groomed up and was playing with. I mean, at least last event was playing with the Narcos.
The
Is he
Narcos,
still
yeah,
playing?
he's still there.
Is he
Yeah,
still there?
absolutely.
Yeah, he was
Yeah,
playing
shout
really
out to
good.
Ben.
Yeah, Ben. Shout out
Yeah.
Ben. Ben.
Yeah,
You killed it, Ben.
We have a ton of like great talent, you know,
Yeah.
and paintball's in a really good spot. But actually, Mark, really excited to see you back here at the WCPPL out at the local field. You got some great news. You're coming to Paris.
We're coming
as
back
well.
to Europe.
The boys are back.
Yeah.
I love it because
So the Lucky 15 boys that he's sponsoring, which I really love, these guys are doing really good on social.
Yep.
So I want to give a shout out to Lucky 15. Lucky 15, you guys are so good for picking up Marcelo because he's probably the best coach in the goddamn world.
Let's go.
So I'm stoked to one, go out there and see Lucky 15,
Yeah.
but then also two, you know, Brandon, which is
Yep.
our business partner,
Yep.
who you love,
Yep.
and you travel
Brandon
the world
Ford,
with Brandon.
one of my favorite
He's
people
kind
of
of
all
behind
time.
the scenes, but when Brandon's like, hey, I'm going,
Yeah.
and it would just be me and Brandon, I don't want to
I
miss the
love
trip
it.
with, because you know,
Yeah.
we have some fun. when we
No,
do
it's-
that.
yeah, it's amazing. Like,
so I'm like, I'm not gonna miss this with Brandon. So
Yeah, you
I
can't.
love Brandon. You love Brandon.
Love Brandon.
because he started PB Fashion with all the events and
Yep.
stuff. So-
Brandon was one of my and HK. PB Fashion and HK were like one of my first
You remember
sponsors.
PB
growing
Fashion?
up. Yeah, absolutely.
Pillars,
PB
absolutely.
Fashion
You
was
were on Brandon's website.
Yeah,
you
I
had
know.
your own
I know.
signature heaven.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So, no, love Brandon for it. Love you guys. Anytime we tell stories from like, you know, the late like 2010 era
Yeah.
of going over to Europe. It was like HK had their booth, and you guys, we always had so
Popping,
much fun.
having fun,
Yeah,
doing good
it was
things.
a great time. So I'm
Yeah.
excited you guys are coming
Yeah,
back.
we're stoked to
You get
go.
to see the venue's awesome over there, right
Yeah.
in Drew. It's like
Yeah, I
this
wanna see it,
this
yeah.
equestrian stadium. So you have like a legitimate like stadium and stands. Pretty
Because
bad.
the last time I went, which was a while ago, when he won was Chantilly.
Yeah.
This is a long time ago.
Yeah, yeah.
I haven't been in a minute.
Right.
I'm not going like you guys. But
Yeah.
so is this better than the? Because Chantilly had that castle, guys.
Yeah,
Remember
Shanti
the
wins.
castle and
Yeah,
all that
it's
stuff?
better.
You think it's better?
That's one of the best venues of all time.
It was insane.
Yeah, it's so beautiful.
It was nuts.
And I prefer grass to turf.
Yeah.
You know, so this is on turf, but it's still really nice.
Sick,
but
yeah.
I mean, Shanti was like
Chantilly was
incredible.
insane.
Yeah, yeah. Super
So I
nice
want to
spot.
see that.
Yeah.
We're stoked. Brand's coming out. Tone's one of our big.
He's going to Europe.
We're going to Europe. I thought you were playing on USA.
Yeah, I won last year, and then the wife said you can't go back.
Damn.
It'd be like that.
So
Yep.
you're
Yeah.
on the team.
I'm
You're
on the team.
Yeah,
Yep.
you're on the
I'm
squad.
going.
It's just a lot having the kids and the wifey, and it's a big
It's hard to get away
adventure.
now.
It is,
Yeah.
But we took the W last year, and they're going back out to defend the title out there in Paris. So
So did you just see LeBron and Steph Curry just?
that
They
game
almost
was
lost it.
They
Now
almost
come back.
lost.
So
They
USA
almost lost.
paintball boys better
100%.
keep us up like that.
It's not easy over there.
Seriously.
I mean,
no, they come for you guys.
Yeah.
Dog,
When
we
Axel's on with like France
Yeah.
and all that, like
Yep.
it's gotta
Yeah.
be a little bit.
It's competitive.
it's
Right?
tough. It's super competitive.
Right?
And these other nations.
So who would be the
they-
hardest team though? You guys play really like France?
It's gonna be
Axel's team?
France or
Yeah.
GB. GB's
Come
the,
on.
Great Britain
no
as
GB.
Oh,
well.
Great
Yeah,
Britain too.
Yeah.
They got a little game on them.
They beat
That's
us
who
2
we
years
saw.
Go
ago.
GB.
They beat us 2 years ago, and they're the
Were you on
team.
when they beat?
No.
No.
Oh, okay.
No. Yeah, and then last year they should have beat us.
They were so
They should have
close.
beat us.
And
They
then
were
what
up.
happened?
They were up a point with 27 seconds to
Daddy
go.
came running
And
down
we
the
That PTG Tyler came in hot.
Yeah.
we had the boys out there. We were running.
Sick.
Yeah, we shot 2 on the break and were able to tie it up and go to overtime. So,
Sick. It was big.
yeah, they're good. They're
Nice.
good. A lot of good teams. But the biggest thing is these teams, they play together. It's the same thing that Team USA basketball ran into.
Yeah.
Which is you're playing against teams that have been, these players have been practicing together for a year, you know?
Yeah, they don't
whereas,
realize they're putting in work without you.
whereas Team
And then
USA
we
is
come
like,
together.
we're all getting together,
Well, Broden
you know,
and
kind of
Steph
the week
finally got to
before.
play for the first
Yeah.
time in how long?
Yeah.
So it's like, or forever, right? Like they haven't played together.
I
Curry
think they
went
played
off.
one. I think they did play one together 8 years ago.
Got it, but
I
they haven't
think.
like these guys
Right.
haven't been like
Yeah,
together
yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Steph Curry went nuclear at the
Yeah.
last game.
35 points,
Yeah.
36,
Almost
something
broke
like
the
that.
record.
Almost broke
he
the
said
record.
it ain't going down like
Yeah.
this.
Nah, boy.
And
No.
Braun at 41 or whatever, still just
Yeah.
stunting like one of the best players in the world.
Yeah,
Yep.
100%.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It's 39.
30,
39.
I thought it
Yep.
was 40.
He hasn't
okay.
hit the
My
40
bad,
yet.
my bad.
Yeah,
getting
39.
there. We're right there.
He's getting there though.
We're right
He's
there.
getting there. Grandpa Braun.
We're right there.
Mark, talk to us about WC. You being out here, what
Yeah.
do you see?
Yes.
It's obviously one of the best regional events in the country. What do you think?
I love it. Mike Kimmin doing a great job. We got Valken out here. We got GI out here. Play the game. HK is back out here. Everyone's doing their thing. I haven't seen Tyler out at a goddamn event like this working since '97. Sorry guys for shaking the camera. Marcelo's out here. No, it's just good to see actually regional paintball back, and we're here to support it when we can now.
Yeah.
We
Does
got
that make sense?
Maddie in here.
And we got Mr. Marshall. Let's go.
We got the squad.
The
That's
be-
what,
the
this is
best
what
of
it's
the
all
best.
about.
Didn't want to
Look,
interrupt.
You know,
look,
didn't wanna
just we
interrupt.
got all our friends out here.
That's what it's all about.
How can you beat
The
this?
Yeah.
WCPL is legit. Like,
It's
this
super
is-
legit.
Yeah, it's super
It's
legit.
insane.
Yeah.
It's
Like I
awesome.
just took a photo. We're chilling in the booth. We've got Maddie, Rainey's out here,
Yeah.
Marky, Tyler, Thomas
Yeah,
Taylor's
Tyler,
out
we
here,
gave Team USA
Alex
5
Goldman,
grand. We
Kyle
sponsored
Spica,
by
like
Telford's
Corey
out
Hall,
here,
Rich
Corey
Telford.
Hall, yeah.
Corey
I mean,
Hall-
it's just
Corey Hall
stacked with pro
doing the
players,
Hawks.
pro
Like,
coaches.
It's insane. Like everyone's
Yeah.
out here.
I literally was just eating my burrito in the AC and texting the wife. And she's like, "How's it going?" I'm like, "We could be doing better on the field, but it's like a reunion out here."
Yeah, it's awesome.
Him and's been grinding and doing his thing. Obviously, you played on Aftermath with him and all that stuff. So,
Yeah, yeah.
I just got to give props to him and who's
Absolutely.
just thank God for him because he's making sure paintball still survives out here.
Yeah.
This is a
Because
huge part of growing
nobody's
paintball.
growing
Yeah.
paintball like this out here.
Yeah.
And you know we've gone through ups and downs and everything with HK, and we've been very blessed and doing good, and we understand it now, and we're here to just support paintball and
Totally.
help grow it with
Love it.
PTG, whether it's GI, Valken, whoever it is, who cares? Let's just grow the goddamn sport.
Absolutely.
That's where we're at now
Love
at this
it.
point
And
in
we
my
got to
life.
say thank you to HK Army for everything that you do for the show. Cause
Yes, thank you for sponsoring the
We
show.
sponsor the
It's
show.
pretty awesome.
Like I said, we sponsor Team USA. We're just
Yeah.
trying to help grow this
Absolutely.
goddamn
Yeah.
thing. Alex Frage's magazine,
Yes.
we're sponsoring that. Like,
Yep.
we're just trying to do these other things now that we can.
Yeah.
You know, back then we couldn't always do all that stuff, but
Yep.
everyone
Well,
thought we were bigger than we were.
but-
But now we can. So
Yeah, but that was
We're
like
willing to give back.
that's always been part of your guys' mission statement. You guys have always been heavily involved, and
Yeah.
so like it's awesome. Again,
Yeah.
love seeing you guys at
Yeah.
events. Saw Jay in Vegas,
Yep.
you know, and I was just it's exciting to see you guys when
Yeah.
you're involved. And I remember on Dynasty when HK was sponsoring Dynasty, it
Yeah.
was like you guys would be in the pits with us, you
We're-
know,
we're
and,
right
and,
there, ready
and
to go.
it's
Yes,
you know
sir. They still
you,
up
you,
in there.
you love seeing that,
and
we
when
get-
we took over Dynasty, I'm not gonna say nothing. But
hey, I wasn't there. When that
Empire
happened.
wasn't giving them the hype. Nothing was.
When he
We
took
came in and
over
gave them the
Dynasty.
hype. No, when we got to be able
Yeah.
to sponsor them.
And then
That's
back
all
to
I'm
back
saying.
to
That's
back,
all I'm saying.
We were running it up.
Damn.
There was Impact back then, and Dynasty sponsored by the same. Look, I ain't gonna say nothing, but Dynasty wasn't getting the love back then. HK came in, and Dynasty's back to the top.
Yeah.
We're getting the love now, though.
That's all I'm saying.
We're getting the love
Yeah,
now. Though.
that-
We're just talking back
Yeah.
action. Can we not just talk and have some fun?
2013, we formed. We had B Short, Kyle Spica. We formed Megatron. Took off.
Insane.
Yep. HK Unite.
Yeah.
It was big.
That was a big year for Dynasty. Yeah, I remember because I
For us
guessed it.
too,
I
everything,
guessed it.
yeah.
I guessed it with
That was big.
for HK too. You know, that was
Tyler,
a big partnership back during that time.
Yeah.
I almost went to Dynasty at the end of 2012. I guessed with them in the NPPL, if you remember. We have that photo, you and me.
Yep.
That sweet
You won
photo of the trophy.
You won the goddamn.
Get one tied.
Yeah,
Is
this
there
is
one in
nice.
there?
There isn't.
Okay, here, let's put some of these in here.
Were you a
You
shot?
gotta keep the
No,
waters
I was
on
with
ice.
I was with the
Slowly
Russian
acting them-
Legion.
Oh, Russian Legion.
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah.
You played. Who'd you play against for that?
We played in 2012. We played against.
In Vegas in that parking lot.
We played against Excessive. Yeah, it was
Excessive.
Riley Sullivan
Yeah,
in the
Sullivan.
one-on-one at the end.
Riley Sullivan, gangster. Shout out Riley
Yeah.
Sullivan.
Snapshot.
Big time.
If you know who
Snapshot.
Riley is, he was
Yeah.
yoked.
Big
Snapshot
I think he was a
Sullivan.
cop.
Yeah.
I think he was a cop, right?
He is
Yep.
still.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
But
So-
what I was gonna say, dude, I'm just so proud of you guys, because one, you guys put me on the first podcast.
He was our first
Yeah,
guest.
And I'm like, what
First
I
guest.
said is, I'm like, Marcelo, you guys gotta keep going, not give up, da da da. Which everyone pretty much who's tried this has kind of given up.
That's the biggest thing is
You guys haven't
consistency.
goddamn stopped.
Yeah, no
which,
way.
which, like for HK, we haven't stopped with like the products and all that stuff
Yeah.
and everything, like
Yeah.
on that world.
Yeah.
But like what you're doing with the podcast, dude, these guys are the best of the best. Like that's straight from my mouth. Like I'm so proud of you guys.
Thank you.
And I wouldn't want it to
Thank
be
you.
anyone else.
Thank
Like
you.
you guys, I love you and I love you. So that's just
cool,
from the
baby.
heart. That's from the heart.
Appreciate it.
Like.
And we love
I-
paintball, all of us here, and that's why we do this. It's all love.
And
for the
we've
game.
all been just best friends forever. That's
Yeah.
what, like, I don't know if like the whole community understands of like how close
They don't.
me, you,
They
Brandon,
don't.
like
Yeah,
they don't
yeah.
know like all the
100%.
stuff we've all done.
100%.
Yeah.
Like
Like, we've
sharing
all
those
been-
stories again, just
No,
being
serious.
yeah, being young kids, being overseas. You know, we did those trips 4 or 5 times a year together. You know, and like had a lot of great stories, a lot of great memories. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Like this resurgence of seeing you guys at the events again.
Yeah.
It like reminds me of when we were kids.
Yeah.
I love it. It's
No,
amazing to see.
and I love that you guys are here too.
We got the energy.
We
Yeah,
got
yeah.
the energy back. We
Yeah.
got the energy back.
I-
And it's also just tough too because like you do it for so long. And I'm not
Yeah.
saying anything, but like Braun, everyone's still crushing through
Yeah.
the whole thing. But
Yeah.
It's a marathon.
Sometimes
it's a
you need
marathon.
it's a
Yeah,
marathon.
and we run marathons, so I get it. But it's not like we're not
Hey,
doing anything.
are you
We're
still beating Short in all the marathons you
I
guys run
haven't lost
together?
yet. I haven't
Wow,
lost yet.
Brandon
Come on,
Short,
Short.
dude.
I've never lost
I
it.
thought you
I
really?
never lost. So Short beats me in practice.
But then at the
So there's practice players and then there's tournament players. I happen to be a tournament player.
Short's always been a tournament player on the paintball
Yeah,
field.
that's all I'm gonna
but
say.
yeah, he's not running
So
there
we did
yet.
2 in a row. We
Okay.
did a full marathon and then we did a 50-miler Catalina, which was
Okay.
beautiful. And I mean, Short's a gangster. Look, I love Short.
hell yeah.
I couldn't even finish
Short
finish
is
one of
insane.
those.
Look, I'm not talking
Yeah.
bad about anybody,
Yeah.
but I'm able to just handle some pain that other people just ain't used to. So
Okay.
I keep going. You ain't stopping me, baby. You ain't stopping me. Unless I go down, it's over.
yeah, where's
That's
your
great.
like when you're getting to mile 45? Like how are you pushing through it? That's so many miles to run back to back to back to back to back to back.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
It's just I just put myself into just like a different world.
You
like,
go numb
I'm
pretty
not. I'm
much.
actually not there.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. I'm actually somewhere else in my brain and in my
Yeah.
head, and I'm not feeling
Dedicated.
It's like a different way that I handle my mindset at that point.
Yeah.
Dude,
Which
that's-
I don't. It's really hard to explain. I know that probably doesn't
No,
make sense.
it-
to you
No, but
guys.
it makes perfect sense
Yeah.
actually because that you have to do that in all sports. When you
Yeah.
get put into the deep end and you're exhausted, you have to tap
Yeah.
into something
I go
else.
somewhere else.
Yeah.
Which is not there, but which
Exactly.
helps me actually stay there. So
Yeah.
I go to this different little planet or world or something.
But
that's-
you're still in the moment.
Of course I
but
am.
Yeah.
Of course I am.
Yeah.
But I'm able to handle that pain and that suffering and that,
sure.
which has also helped with HK and all this other
Yeah.
stuff.
Of
I mean,
course.
Yeah,
all,
good
the, all,
luck.
all the years that we made no money, and me and Brandon were on the couch in the apartment in Gresham and
Yeah.
in San Diego
Yeah.
with A-Rod and everybody. Like, come on, like I mean, we got through hell and back. So it's like we're able to just like sustain that and go through
Yeah.
all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, go
It's
try
awesome,
and
dude.
run 50 miles. Tell us how that goes.
It's not easy, boys.
It's
It's
not
not easy.
easy.
My knees explode even thinking about it. To be honest, it just
Skemp, so we got Skemp to run a marathon. He did it.
half marathon, right? He did.
No,
a
he
half?
did a full.
That was a
He
full.
did a full marathon in
Oh,
San Diego.
man.
His content
Damn.
was so funny.
It was
amazing.
so
It was the
funny,
best
yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
And then he's like, I'm gonna take you and Short down, da da da. And he's never ran again. Fucking guy, dude. He never ran again. We miss him. But
Yeah.
Short's been putting in work. Short has literally, I swear to God.
Oh,
you're
every
shit.
day.
No, he has a straight up 8-pack right now.
Yeah.
Short's putting in the work. He's not playing around this time. He definitely is not gonna lose to me. There's no way I can beat him this time.
Dude,
If you beat him 3 times in a row, that's
If I
game
beat him
over.
this time, we got problems. But
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
no way. Like Short's like on a whole different
He's
planet
a-
right now. Like
Nice.
he's out for blood right now.
Okay, that
and
makes
which
sense.
I want him to be.
Dedicated.
I love
Right.
Short. He's
yeah,
fucking
Shorty.
awesome. Yeah, he's
Get
awesome.
it, baby.
Awesome.
I actually just messaged him about that. I was like,
Yeah,
let's
he's
go.
on like another
I'll see
planet
it.
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marky, share some HK news that the listeners don't know. Give us
The
what do you guys have
88s.
coming out next? What is this camera you guys had on your tank? It looked like it was on the tank. That camera, the first-person shooter
Dude,
camera.
that video already has 200,000 views.
Yes, it does.
Just
Talk
'cause
to us
people
about
like
it.
that angle.
Yeah.
People like that angle.
Where's that angle from? Talk to us. Let's
Yeah,
go.
what do we got?
Okay, can I say something else before that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, we're back.
back.
It is so hot here
So
that
hot.
the iPad overheated, shut down. This happened during the live
We
yesterday
had to
on the
open the
field.
back of the PTG.
We got
We had to open the back. It is a scorcher out here.
I'm so happy you opened that. I was dying.
Yeah. No,
I'm
it's
not gonna
good.
lie.
I mean, I was sweating.
I
the
got
whole
water.
time.
I was sweating.
Yeah.
I was like, we gotta finish this thing.
Yeah, 100%. But in any case,
Yeah.
Mark, you were giving us some sweet info on some cool HK stuff that you
No.
guys have coming
Yeah,
out.
we
We're
talk
talking
about-
the camera.
yeah.
We're talking about all sorts of stuff.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
what do you think? Did you watch the ESPN thing?
I did.
What do you think?
No.
Honest opinion.
One, I loved it that we got back on ESPN. How could you not?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Tremendous.
How could you not be back on that? Yeah. Do we think that's the best format for people to understand and watch it? I'm not sure. Maybe one
You
of
mean
us.
the best platform?
Plat-
Oh, format.
No.
Format.
Platform, yeah.
Okay.
I'm not saying that.
Okay.
But obviously, we saw a kid post. There was a guy who's never seen paintball before, and he kind of was giving some negative feedback. I don't know if you saw it.
I did actually, yeah.
Just being truthful. Just being truthful.
But towards the end of it, he flips and he's like,
Did he?
"Yo, that was actually a sick move."
Oh, okay, yeah.
So if it's the same guy,
I think it was, yeah.
but it's like a long reel he posts. He's like,
Yeah,
"What is
yeah,
this?
yeah,
Look
yeah.
at these guys." But then towards the end, he's like, "Hey, oh, that was actually kind of low key tight." You know?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
for me, I thought it was amazing.
Yeah, what'd you think?
I thought it was amazing. I do think there was a little bit of a miss on the first person
Yeah.
shots that they actually chose.
And they cut out points, right?
Yeah,
If
well,
you're gonna-
I understand
and they were
that. You
saying if
kinda
you're
have to
gonna
do
cut-
that.
If you're gonna cut stuff out, why don't we just keep the hype the whole time and cut out the boring stuff?
Well, there's storytelling.
This is just talking
and all
like
that.
normal,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
for
there's
like
storytelling.
I could be here and be like, it was the best thing ever. I loved it. Paintball's back. Da, da, da. I'm just talking as a friend, like a
Yeah.
stuff between you, yeah. That's
It,
all.
like you said,
Yeah.
it's monumental that it's back on
No,
TV.
it's amazing that's back on ESPN.
That's right.
It's dope. That was the number one thing I heard as a kid. Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I saw it on ESPN. Like everyone would say that. Yeah.
And these are
Stoked
the
on that.
Yeah.
But do you think, like, as everything you've
So,
gone through, could it be a little bit better the way to watch it if you've never seen it?
Yeah, the number one thing that again
all
that
I'm
I
saying.
think if it would be if they had more of the first person shooter. Like
Yeah.
I saw GoPro footage from Jason Trozen that they didn't use that was so good, and it seemed like every
Yeah.
time they cut to the GoPro, the guy was like kind of crawling
So-
and
yeah.
looking in the ground. I'm like, oh man, there were some good shots of
Yeah.
like 10 feet away, someone shooting someone.
Yeah.
That's what you want to see on the first person
Yep.
shooter.
It's so funny
So
because
that's all
Chad
I'm
had
saying.
Jason Trojan. That's when I said this on FaceTime when he came here yesterday.
Yeah.
And Trojan said the exact same thing. They didn't
Yeah.
use all the good GoPro footage
Yeah,
that we had.
totally.
Which he's like, if they're gonna skip through scenes, skip the boring stuff and then add the cool first person stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
That's all. He's
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
maybe we could cut it up a little bit better
Yeah.
from ESPN side.
Yeah. But numbers are doing really good.
Yeah,
So
no,
the-
stoked on that, of
yeah,
course.
The numbers are good, so
Just saying we could
I
do better, that's
believe
it.
we're
Way to
gonna
go,
get.
community.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Of
Way to
course,
go, everybody who tuned in. Let's
of course,
go.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
But
think
just
we're
like
getting
even with our
another.
business and everything, we just like to say like how we feel and
We
maybe,
want
maybe we
to
can do better
Let's
next
do
time.
better.
That's it. Yeah,
Let's
that's
do
right.
better.
That's all.
Progression.
Yeah, exactly.
It's all
Consistency and progression.
Exactly.
That's it.
Right?
Yeah.
But no, I'm stoked to see it back on ESPN. Hyped on it, and I hope it keeps going.
Yeah,
Hope it keeps
absolutely.
going. Yeah.
It looks like it might. We got good numbers.
Looks like
we
it
got
might.
some good numbers.
Looks like it might.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's promising.
What else, Marcelo? What do we got?
Man, that whole thing that just happened with
Yeah,
this thing
that
going
just
down,
killed
it
us.
took me out of it. But we had to
I
get
feel
it back
so much
up.
better with the air.
We had
I'm
to
not
get it
gonna lie
back
to you.
up.
I feel
Yeah,
so
hot in here.
way too
It
hot.
was insane.
Way too hot. But yeah, I don't know. Let's see. This will be going up after the event, so we'll see what teams do well. We're gonna get some players on for interviews. It's gonna
Yep.
be following this one.
Yep.
Yep.
But yeah, if
And
there's
then
anything else you want to share?
You're on Team USA.
I'm on Team USA. Yep,
Good.
and also coaching the U19s and U16s.
Nice. So
Yeah.
we'll see you out there. I'll
Yeah,
be stoked on
absolutely.
that. And
Yeah,
then,
for
we're just stoked to be out here. Paintball's
Yeah,
back.
love it.
SoCal Paintball's doing good. Him and you're killing it. Let's keep going. And PTG's on fire, boys.
Shout out to
That's all we
AHSBIZ.
gotta talk
Let's
about.
go, baby.
go.
Let's
Awesome,
go.
guys.
Thank you guys.
Peace.
Appreciate you having me.
All right, everybody, we're back. We got T2 out here, Twister Paintball. My man, is this your first time at WCPPL?
It is my first time at WC. Yeah, this is a lot of fun. It's a good time.
Yeah.
Saw the event was happening this weekend. I happened to have a little bit of availability to come out. I've been sponsoring the webcast here for about a year. They do a fantastic job.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of friends out here and a lot of guys that shoot twisters, so I figured come out and see some people and have a good time.
Yeah,
So,
100%.
Yeah.
I see Twisters all over the place. You guys are doing big things
we're,
with it.
We're
It's pretty
trying.
exciting.
We're trying.
Yep.
We're trying. So a lot of
Absolutely.
support from the whole community. It's been great.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
yeah.
So what do you think of, have you been able to watch games?
I've watched some games. This facility is deceptively big. Like,
Oh,
you,
yeah.
you kind of get in here, but you don't realize like how many fields there are here
Yeah.
and how much they have going on. I mean, coming from New England, we have a bunch of different places that have events, but we're a seasonal paintball tournament, right? In New England, you're only really playing for half of the year essentially. So with you guys here nonstop, you have a lot more teams here. I mean, how many teams? 150 teams or something?
There's a little over 100 at this
It's
one. Yeah,
insane.
and I know Mike said he had some teams kind of pull out last minute. It's really hot out here. We're
this
at
wind is
100
magical
degrees
right now, but
dude,
yeah.
we had to take the back down. We were only able to keep the back up in the morning for the morning show. So sorry for the mess here, but it's just it's crazy. It's
Yeah,
brutal.
it's pretty hot. It's not humid though. It's just really dry.
Yeah.
But
How are you acclimating?
I'm actually okay.
Doing all right?
Atlantic City was way worse. It was way more humid there and just disgusting. This
Yeah.
is not too bad. Yeah, it's not
Whew,
too bad.
it's pretty
Stay
brutal.
hydrated. A lot of water.
Yeah, it feels like there's blow dryers coming from the ground up, just shooting hot air
The
into your
ground
face.
is just hot. It's
Yeah,
like an
they-
oven.
it's
Yeah.
melting out
Absolutely,
here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it looks like, I mean, you guys have a great setup here.
Yep,
I mean,
absolutely.
I love all the products you guys brought too. This has been great.
Thank
You guys
you.
have been busy. I've been hanging out at the Planet tent, couple down.
Yeah.
And you guys have been a non-stop line here, so it seems like people really digging what you guys are bringing to this
Yeah,
event. So-
absolutely. It's been a lot of fun. You know, I not coaching the WC this year, which was, a little bit of a bummer, but it was a blessing in disguise because Tyler and I, we decided to go all in on the booth and having merch here and doing shows and having people like yourself. We have, the winners from each division get to come on.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we just grab random players. So, if you're out here at the WC, come say what up.
Yeah.
Have a chance to get on PTG. It's a cool kind of community thing,
Yeah.
So it's been awesome to see all the listeners and all the fans of what we're doing and just all the paintball players.
It's been great
you know?
to see your growth too. Like you and Tyler have been absolutely killing it. I listen, so I mean, it's been great to see you guys kind of grow this thing to where it's at now. It's pretty cool. It's pretty
Thank you,
cool.
brother. Appreciate
So,
that. Yeah, honestly, I think it's just about consistency, right? And we really enjoy doing it. So we're constantly trying to find new ways to innovate and get better. And, each time we do something like setting up the booth, it in itself has been a whole learning experience. We were just talking about this, like, why don't you have a fan? I was like, yeah, we realized that about yesterday afternoon that we need a fan.
Yeah.
We weren't prepared for this kind of event.
It's funny, like Twister, we never went to events either, and we went to Vegas for the first time. We shared with Enemy of the States. We kind of had a split booth, and we got there and went, we need a million things that we didn't even think about. So when we, every event you evolve, you get a little bit better.
For sure.
Just for your own comfort in here, obviously, because
for sure.
it's always going to be hot in California, just varying degrees, right? So I think you guys will probably have a lot more fans. You'll probably have a couple blowing back.
Maybe a little
this way.
swamp
Yeah.
cooler, put some like cold
exactly.
water in there,
Yeah.
anything.
Cool.
Yeah, it's funny. The coolest thing is the first event out here, all the other, our tent didn't make it in time. It was a big debacle, so Mike let us use a WCPPL tent. But all the other vendors were like super helpful with, helping us with little things that were like, oh, we didn't bring, these kind of bungees. We didn't bring that. We're like, we just didn't know. We had no idea what we needed, and everyone kind of, helped out.
That's the one thing, like, always become friendly with the people around you, right? Whether it be the players or just whoever you're sharing space with, because you never know when you need a zip tie, you never know when you need a battery or whatever that may be able to help, or watch your booth while you go get food or something, you may have to walk away. That's one thing that we've learned, and the nice thing with our kind of community of, just paintball in general is that everybody helps each other out. I mean, there's really nobody that's doing anything malicious or anything like that, but the vendors here are pretty cool. I mean, you get a lot of smaller companies that I've had discussions with, like small headband companies, like guys doing like really impressive work that I never would have been exposed to if I didn't come to this event. So, really cool. I'm getting a lot out of this little mini vacation for myself, and I think it's been pretty cool to be experiencing this though.
Yeah, dude, Mike and Tracy just do such a phenomenal job. They're super welcoming. They're on top of everything. They run a really efficient event. And I think, we keep talking about it with pretty much every guest, so sorry to the listeners if you're kind of sick of hearing it. But the coolest thing is like allowing the vendors to just come and, it doesn't charge. He lets vendors come, set up. I think it makes the event.
The vendors are free?
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah. He just wants people to be here and be excited about playing and provide a good atmosphere for the players. And, you see that. Like walking through here, it feels like a small NXL event.
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
You're just walking in from the parking lot, like this looks like an NXL.
Absolutely. I think it adds to the experience of his customers, and it obviously is a great benefit to all the vendors as well.
I will actually say this. Now knowing that, to help some of these smaller companies show up where they otherwise couldn't afford $1,200 or $2,000 for an NXL thing, this is low risk. They can just go buy a tent at Home Depot for $100 and put their stuff out, and it's very low risk for them to do it.
Yeah.
I would have never seen, and I've got contacts now. I'm going to call a lot of these guys when I get home to collaborate with them on some things because they got free exposure here. So I mean, that is a huge value. Well, I didn't even realize that. So that's great.
Absolutely, and
that's
it's a win-win, right?
Yeah.
Like that's a total win-win. Again, if vendors aren't here, the events just don't seem as professional, you know. But when you have we have a whole row here of you got a lemonade stand, you got coffee, you got food, you got the paintball vendors. Like it feels cool. It reminds me of like when I was a kid going to NPPLs and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, so I really dig it, really appreciate it. T2, you being a prominent figure on the East Coast, East Coast paintball is so different than West Coast paintball. There's always been the battle between the two.
It is.
What do you think, after watching some games, what are some major differences between the two coasts of the United States?
I just from the outside looking in, and
Yeah.
I've been doing this for way too long. I stopped keeping count after a while. I think that the teams here seem a little bit more calm, cool, and collected. I know it doesn't seem maybe that way when you're here, but once you start experiencing, especially Northeast teams, New York, New Jersey, Upper New England, Connecticut, you've been up there, you've seen some of
Absolutely,
these
been
teams,
there a
Wrecking
lot.
Crew, guys
Yep.
like that. Very gritty.
Yeah.
They like to fight. Very aggressive.
Well, it's freezing cold half the year, and you
Correct.
can't even go outside, so you're just pissed off all the time.
Correct. And,
And then it's too
indoor
hot.
fields are few and far between now. We
Yeah.
had obviously
Yeah.
a major one that's not there anymore. So we're hardened in New
Yeah.
England, right? We're
Yeah,
playing
yeah.
in snow, with shoveling off fields, and
Yeah.
playing in 10-degree weather. You've been there for
Yeah,
those things,
absolutely.
right? So you never, as a New England team, we traditionally have never really had a good advantage going into first events ever.
Correct,
Right?
yeah.
First events are typically a March, April thing, and we're coming into it with maybe 1 or 2 practices in the snow.
Yeah.
And you can't go out there and grind. You're only going to shoot maybe 20 cases of paint that practice, right? Going into an NXL. Meanwhile, there's no time off here.
Yeah.
And right, you guys are
Yeah.
all year long, 12 months, every weekend, and that's why you see a lot of the better players either moving to Texas or California or Florida, where they can dedicate their time to their craft and get better. And I'm seeing a lot of New England teams do that. Or you just have some New England players that have the benefit of being able to fly every weekend and go travel and practice. I've seen Pat Kraft, for example, from NYX came up in the NXL. Guys like that, Darula. You get some ability to go and practice and travel. You'll start to get this no days off thing, right? New England's tough though.
There he is.
T2.
What's up,
Yeah,
Tim?
baby.
It's hot.
It
is
is
it
super
hot out here?
It's kind of cold, actually.
It's
Yeah.
sizzling.
It is so hot. It is so hot. But
I
you're-
should be the one
you're-
dying here.
you're-
I'm okay. I'm totally fine.
Well, see, I don't think it works like that. I think when you're acclimated to humid heat,
Yeah.
it's easier to go to dry heat. Going from
Boston
dry to
heat
humidity,
is
it's you're done.
oppressive.
Yes.
This is 100% humidity.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
this is
brutal.
actually not all that bad. When you get the
Yeah.
sunlight, it's pretty bad, but this is not too bad.
Tough guy. We got a tough guy over here. We got a tough guy. No, but it's actually funny you mentioned that. It's not something that I really processed until probably 5-10 years ago, but growing up on the West Coast, we were able to play every weekend. There's few weekends that maybe it rains so bad we don't go, where on the East Coast you're playing.
Yep.
And that is such an advantage. Just more time behind the gun, more reps, more ability
there's
to
less
practice.
excuses in New England because it's you have to play in the snow or you're not going to play at all.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah.
Obviously,
Yeah.
when we had the indoor field, it was a lot of money to practice
Yeah,
there.
right.
The cost of just playing indoors was tough, so the teams that could do it, it was great for them. But even look at the history of professional teams and players, the turnover rate of New England teams, they never really stick and last because it's so hard to create and keep a competitive New England team that is homegrown and stays there. Look at all the teams. I mean, 187 was a fantastic team, but again, they've rolled over into Revo, they rolled over to other things, but you can't sustain it for a long time. New England Hurricanes, Jersey Authority, you've had a lot of teams come from that region, and it's just really hard to stay competitive consistently.
Oh, geez, we got Lux right behind us. They're testing guns. A lot of guns being fixed
They gotta
over
fix
there.
a lot of guns over there. It's pretty.
They're fixing guns everywhere. We got
non-stop.
Field 1 right here. I'm sure they're fixing. Everyone's fixing. Everyone's fixing. It's so hot out here. It's melting parts. This is the second mic. Our first mic went down. Completely went down.
Yeah.
The cords
I
fried,
don't think
everything.
these things are rated for.
It's, dude, I don't understand. It's global warming. It's really happening. It's a thing.
But,
Or maybe we're
again,
just going through a
the
cycle. It's
presence-
where it's hotter.
Just saying that too. The presence of techs here is pretty impressive. I think Guy's got a tech here. DLX has a tech here. All the big guys have techs
Everyone
here.
does.
So
Absolutely.
that's a really cool thing too.
Yeah, the company is showing support for their teams is massive.
Yep.
You know,
So you're hard at work right now.
hard at work.
Yeah.
Hard at work.
Yeah.
But it's super important, to have, if you show up to an event and you're using one of your sponsors, equipment or gear, you want to make sure you have support there, right? It's important. You see HKs out here, Field 1, Lux.
And for an aftermarket company like us, or a private label company, we try and choose a lot of markers and manufacturers that are going to have presence here, right?
Yeah.
We do a lot of Planet. We do a lot of dye stuff now with DSRs. We'd love to work with Field 1. We'd like to work with everybody. But that's one thing that you look at. Like, if somebody has your gun, and something happens, because things happen, right? You'll have some issue. You want to make sure they get it fixed.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, it's a
Yeah.
bad experience for you as your customer for you. So, but again, I'm really almost best friends with Tim Firpo. Like, I've known him forever, 20 years. So it's cool that I can come out and spend time with my buddy. I'm just hanging out in the Planet tent for the most part, and just helping work on guns that come in. We like the challenge of just kind of work on stuff. So.
I love it. Let's actually talk about that. How did you get into paintball, and how did your storyline kind of develop into Twister, which is what I think most of the listeners are probably familiar with today because it's such a massive brand in the sport right now, especially like
we've had a lot of growth this year, especially.
Yeah. So let's talk about that.
All right, I'll give you the short version. I don't want to be too long-winded. 9 years old when I started playing. Dad forged that waiver for him. Thanks, Dad. Bought my first paintball gun from Boston Paintball in 1992, the year that they opened. I was 10 years old, and I bought my first gun there. And I was a constant, going there all the time. Started kind of ditching school sometimes, middle school, hop the train, downtown Boston, hang out.
Hey, play the game podcast?
There we go,
That's
PTG
right,
podcast.
Hey, Marcelo, what are you doing over here, bro? What the fuck? This is in the corner hiding and shit. Get that shit, boy.
We got action. We're live out here.
So yeah, I would go in there and look at all the custom guns they got, Twisters and all the different things they had when I was a lot younger. And eventually I started working there. So I started working there about 18, 19 years old. And just evolved. So my position evolved to I've done everything there. So from a referee all the way to to where I'm at now, but doing graphic design and doing the websites. And eventually Anthony kind of came to me and said, hey, I want to do an online store. And I said, the only way we're going to do this is if we do custom guns again. Real deal, milled custom guns. And this is 2013. I think the only company that was doing real private label then was maybe Dark. They were just doing Geos. And I think we shopped around a little bit and said, this new gun, the LV1 just came out. This is the one, we're going to do it. And that first gun did 150, and it took about a year and a half to sell 150 Twisters.
Really?
Yeah,
now they don't last 2 minutes.
Yeah, you can do that in about 30
Wow.
seconds now.
Wow.
But I remember going to World Cup and sleeping on, ironically enough, I met him for the first time, Tim Purple. I slept on his couch at his rental house because we didn't make any money. I mean, I maybe sold 5 guns out of a 10x10 by myself at World Cup in 2014.
Love that.
And now we've got, a little bit more of a following,
Yeah.
but it's evolved. We've had some really good people help us out. We've had good relationships. Now we're doing loaders, we're doing packs. We've got a full line of tanks, guns, multiple guns, multiple manufacturers. Did autocockers again. So it's been great. I mean, it's been great to write a new chapter in Boston Paintball's book of custom and leave our mark. And I also work on other stuff with Boston too. I do summer camp stuff. See you guys there. We're doing some of the branding and jerseys for that. I've done all the Combine jerseys since the very beginning.
This is what most people don't know is like T2 is the guy behind the scenes for a lot of the stuff that you guys see us doing and working with. And
I handle logistics for pretty much everything under the Boston Paintball umbrella.
Like everything we talk about, it's like, oh well, let's run this with T2. It's like you're the guy behind the scenes. It's making it all spin.
I mean, the biggest thing in the past couple of years is COVID unfortunately really shut down our indoor field. That was my home base, and that was I was a GM there. But it opened a door that I could open my own shop, and it's 4 minutes from my house now, and I have 2,500 square feet of every machine you could ever want there. I got direct-to-garment printers, I got vinyl cutters, I can make any shirt, anything. We build all of our guns in-house. And it's just great that we can kind of make our own hours and go in and surround ourselves with, it's a clubhouse mentality, right? And we wanted to nurture that like any of our friends could come and help anytime they want to. You want to come build some guns and ship some stuff, come on in. Like, we're happy to do it. And it's cool that you are not working a traditional 9 to 5, right? You can roll in at noon, you can roll in at 3 in the afternoon, and we'll just work it until 9, 10 at night, go get some lunch, whatever. And it's just really lax. And I think that cultivating that and nurturing that culture is why I think the Twisters, it's the everyman's brand, right? I don't think we don't try to be the big guys. We're not flashy. We don't need, crazy stuff. I mean, we're true to our roots of where Boston started. They started in a dusty old warehouse in downtown Boston, and that's where I fell in love with the guns. And we're trying to keep that spirit alive in what we do
right
now.
by the Converse shop, right?
The Converse, so where the Converse headquarters is where Boston Paintball started, on the 6th floor of that building.
Okay.
Correct. Right next to the Boston Garden.
Yeah.
And it's right next to where the train is. I grew up in a town called Melrose, which ironically enough is where Converse started. So it's kind of like a full circle thing, but I used to hop the train there in Melrose and take it down a couple stops in downtown Boston, and that's how I used to go in when I was like 13, 14 years old.
Dude, I love it.
Ditch school and hop in the train to go down to the paintball
I think
place.
a lot of paintball players might have similar stories.
Sorry, Mom and Dad. Like, I did that quite often.
Yeah.
So.
Well, looks like you turned a lot of it into some, success, which we talk about on the show often. There's so many different ways to monetize paintball. If paintball is your passion, there is a path to do it as a professional player, but you have to treat it like a business, you know, and you have to be able to market yourself. You have to be able to, you know, if you're not comfortable teaching, well, then you gotta have a brand with merchandise.
Know your strengths, but definitely
Yes.
know your weaknesses.
Yeah, absolutely.
And whatever you lack in a little bit, find the best people to surround
Partner
yourself
with
that
that
can
person.
elevate you. That's the key, right?
Absolutely.
That's the key.
100%. And, you know, again, COVID, you mentioned, kind of a blessing in disguise. Well, that's the same thing here with PTG. You know, we couldn't play, so we were like, what should we do? Let's start talking about paintball. Let's create this show, you know, and we fell in love with the process of it, and we said, hey, we're not going to stop doing this.
I couldn't literally be, I say this to you off camera, so I'm not saying this just because I'm on camera, but I'm so happy to see you guys where you're at with this. I mean, you poured so much of yourselves into this, and it shows. I mean, there's a lot. I'm not knocking the other guys because we know all the other guys. We're friends with all the other guys. There's a lot of podcasts that are paintball focused and paintball centric. For me personally, this is the best one.
There's only one best,
but
you know?
I go
it's
when,
okay.
when I'm at the gym, I listen to it and like I watch it, and it's not just because you guys are my friends and I know you, but like I've seen this grow from nothing, and it's very impressive. I'm super happy for you guys what you've accomplished. So
thank you. It means a lot. Yeah, we treat it just like we do our paintball career. We truly just want to keep making it better and better and better, and I think there's a great opportunity to kind of bridge, you know, world. All right. PTG, we are back. We have young Evan McCarty out here, one of the Team USA U19s players. We're out here at the WCPPL. Evan, what's happening?
Nothing much, Marcelo. Overall, we had a really good. We had a good event, a rough event, but it's definitely a lot of things that we need to improve on. Definitely like the way that we close, the way that we move down the field, and how we process things that are happening on the field.
Yeah, absolutely. And who are you playing with out here?
I'm playing with Phoenix Rising, the premier line, and yeah, we have a pretty solid line. Picked up a few new players, a few dropped out last minute, but overall, I thought it was a good learning process.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Premier Division out here is incredibly difficult.
Right.
A lot of players that come and watch or compete in this kind of equate it to semi-pro, NXL. It's pretty similar. You know, you'll have semi-pro teams that'll come out and actually compete and not win, you know? So It's not easy. You've got teams like CEP, a bunch of old pro players. They don't come out and go 4-0. There's a lot of really good skill, talent, everything here at the WCPPL. So your line, Phoenix Rising, how long have you been with their premier line?
I've been with their premier line for like, this is like my first season playing with Premier with them.
Okay.
I got picked up at the beginning of the season.
Beginning of the season?
Beginning of the season,
nice.
yeah.
Awesome. And for all the listeners, obviously I know where you're from, but where are you from? Where do you play out of?
So I'm from Arizona, one of the hottest states out in this country. Usually where I play out a lot is AZ Battle Zone. That's like one of my favorite fields.
Okay.
Really the only other field out there, but it's a really good field.
Yeah, 100%. Arizona paintball seems like it's doing really well. Tyler's obviously out there.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of good fields, a lot of action, a lot of good teams and players coming out of there now too.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was your guys' record this weekend? What'd you guys do?
We didn't do the greatest. We got 1-3.
1-3.
1-3. But we had a really good match against Narcos. Unfortunately we didn't make the cut for it, but Narcos is a really tough team. One of the hardest teams that we ever played.
Yeah, they're playing really well.
They are.
Ryan Greenspan has been coaching them, so he's doing a great job with them in practices, doing a good job in the events. Obviously, having eyes like that, you know, scouting and helping with game plans and putting players in the right spots is a big part of their success. Let me turn the volume up here. But yeah, that's a crucial thing for these teams. And you know, Phoenix Rising, I know you guys used to have Corey Field.
We used to have Corey Field. I'm not sure what happened with that deal, but I know Corey went to another team. He played. Yeah. He's coaching for the Bloodhawks now.
Bloodhawks, that's right.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, and the Bloodhawks are playing, I think, the Vegas Brawlers right now.
They are.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a really fun match. I gotta catch that.
100%. Yeah, a lot of good games. Like Saturday, which is basically Sunday. It's the playoff day for all of the Premier teams and Division III teams. There's always really good games. I love going over there watching. If you guys have been following the Play the Game Instagram over the weekend, obviously this will air after the event, but you know, I'm trying to get some of the action, get the film. Obviously, Mike does a great job with the webcast as well, which is really cool because players get to go back at night, watch their games. Is that something you guys did with Phoenix Rising? Do you guys watch your games?
We will go back, watch your games, and see like the mistakes that we've made and how we can improve on those mistakes.
Yeah, and what do you guys look for in these matches when you're watching film?
Really, like how pretty much the intentions of each other player. Like we'll try to find like one of their key players. And we'll see like their intentions, like would they go to snake off break or would they play heavy D side off break, or most of their back players, right? Because sometimes their back players, they will go up into the center, they'll try to find those tendencies and bring the game to us. Mm-hmm. So that was what we were lacking. on our field. Like, we really didn't have a center presence, but
Yeah, the way these fields are nowadays, too, with all the bunkers, it's so important to have a balanced attack. You know,
Right.
you need to have a lot of different pressure points. You got to be able to attack down the snake. You got to be able to attack down the middle. You got to be able to attack down the Dorito side.
Right.
And then you also need to be able to know how to absorb pressure when other teams are attacking through those zones.
right, when you have the momentum, you got to do the 2-punch, right? Snake, you do the snake side, you do the D side, maybe a center, maybe go back into the snake.
Yeah, 100%. You're absolutely right, Evan. It's you have to be really well-rounded if you want to win, especially in the Premier Division, but really in any division. These teams are getting more and more skilled. These teams are getting more and more experience. You know, there's so much great information out there, so if you want to learn and be a student in the game, you can, which is something you've done from the day I met you, I don't know, 6 years ago, something like that.
It's been
7
a
years
while.
ago out in Arizona. You know,
Right.
you're just a total student of the game. So, yeah, it's difficult. You got to do all the things well. It's hard to win out here. A lot of close games, a lot of overtime matches, even just
overtime.
today. So it's good to see. It's good to see the talent level rising and everybody, you know, no pun intended. It's good to see the talent level rising and paintball seems like it's doing really well, especially out here at the WC. What do you think of the league itself?
League of itself, WC, I think it's really well organized. I think it's pretty close to NXL. But it's more local teams, so it's a lot harder, right? Because a lot of teams come out here, like D3 Academy, they practice on this field, sometimes with Aftermath. So I think overall, I think the WC league is like pretty solid.
Yeah,
it's one of my favorite leagues out there.
It's one of the best regional leagues in the country, hands down. I think it's the best regional league in the country. I've been to quite a few different ones, coaching and
Right.
experiencing them. And Mike just does a great job. You know,
He does
obviously.
a really great job.
Totally. He provides not only great, you know, playing experience, he provides a great atmosphere.
He
You know,
does.
allowing the vendors to come here, set up, as you see, we're in the PTG booth out here.
Right.
If you look, you know, there's this whole row of vendors. You feel like you're at a small NXL event.
It really
You know,
does. It really
it's
does.
really, really cool.
It feels like the like NXL Vegas at the beginning of the
Totally.
season. It's like
Yeah.
I think it was one of the biggest like NXL events that's not World Cup. Or?
Yes, it was.
one of the biggest
It was.
events, right?
Yeah, it was the biggest non-World Cup
Non-World
event.
Cup, that's right.
So, yeah, and you know, Mike, I think he has over 100 teams here. That's a great turnout. You know, but
really
again,
great
the
turnout.
atmosphere is awesome. You know, anytime you could have vendors and stuff, it makes it feel really professional and legitimate. You know, so people are here to support Mike. Mike supports them. It's a great, you know, thing. And Mike's always up there scouting too. He's looking at young players. You know, he likes to keep his finger on the pulse. You know, and he's somebody who has definitely brought up a ton of great talent as well.
Right.
You know, one of the best in the business at it. But yeah, it's awesome being out here. So Evan, let's talk a little bit about Team USA.
All right.
You made the team this year. We're going to be heading over to
USA.
France. There we go. We got T in the building.
Doing it for Arizona.
Let's go. Doing it for USA.
For USA. For USA.
Yeah. What are your feelings heading over? We have practice obviously in Boston next weekend,
Right.
but talk to us about your intentions going into the event and how much this means to you.
My intention is like pretty much just going with my head high. I'm very confident with the line that we've picked, like Colton as our team captain. I'm very confident because he's been on USA for quite a while now. He's one of the smartest players I've ever met. Brody, one of the quickest players that we have too. They're a really good group of guys.
Yeah, we have a great team, which is awesome. You know, it's interesting though because no matter how good the team is, I say it every year, it is so hard to win. It doesn't matter if you're more talented or more skilled. To actually go over there and actually execute what is required to win is really difficult. There's a lot of elements, you know, you're kind of jet lagged. You know, you have all these other countries that they don't really want us to win. It's pretty much everyone against USA.
Yeah.
And it makes it that much more difficult to rise above all of the things and come together in a short amount of time too. You know, we are going to have, with the U19s and U16s, we'll have one full weekend of practice on the layout together, whereas these other countries, they probably played 4 weekends on the layout. So it's important for us to all communicate a lot about what we like about the field, and when we come together, we have to be really efficient with our time. Yeah. Have you been to Europe before?
I've never been to Europe.
First trip to Europe.
First trip to Europe.
Are
Really
you
excited.
are you going to be doing any vacationing, staying before, staying after, or are you just there for business?
Usually, like, mostly I'm there for business, but like the last day that we have, we're gonna go visit Normandy.
Awesome.
So that'll be cool. But mostly
Awesome.
while I'm there, it's mostly
There we
business.
go.
Mostly business.
I love that. Get in, win, hopefully, and have a nice day or two to enjoy
nice day.
yourself.
Right.
Exactly. You got to be over there and see the sights. It's a beautiful country. Very excited. So, awesome, man. Well, Evan, thank you so much for coming and joining us, giving us a little segment here. Is there anything you want to leave the listeners with?
Really, just important. Just play the game, man.
Play the game.
Play the game.
Let's go.
I'll be back.
That's it.
Yep.
I love
Yeah.
it. Great, Evan. Thank you, brother.
Nice to meet you.
See
Yeah.
you soon,
Nice
and
to meet you.
we'll,
What
we'll
am I
be.
talking about?
Nice to
Nice to meet
Hey,
you.
the mic makes people a little nervous. You guys,
It
you
did,
guys
it really
listen.
did make me-
You guys listened to Marquis on the last one, a little crazy. Yeah, so it's all good, brother. All right, Evan.
doing great, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you, dude.
Yeah,
I'll see you
man.
soon.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, we're back. We got the man. We got Rainey out
go,
here.
Rainey.
Yeah, Rain Dance. He thought he was gonna come chill in the booth, escape the sun, enjoy a horchata, and instead we're like, dude, you gotta hop on the show.
It's a trap.
It's a trap.
It's a
Every
trap.
time, it's a trap. But Rainey, let's talk about WC. Your teams, obviously, you've had a lot of success with Sicarios this year. How you guys doing? What's everything shaking out like? This is a crazy event.
Yeah, it's been a learning curve this weekend, right? The phrase for the weekend for us is zone control, right? We had 3 ties.
Yikes.
We had games won. We had points won. We had guys in the snake with none of them in the snake, with us locking off the snake and us up a body.
For the listeners back home too, this field is it's kind of hard to get out on the snake side, and there's massive gaps. So if you're in the snake and the other team is not, you have got to keep them out of the snake.
And the snake is 4 large bricks that
Yes.
are a long ladder, and then the snake side corner is a big tower down the wire.
Yes.
So sometimes we would put all our guys Dorito away and still get in the snake and the snake corner, and then
Yeah.
our corner guy turns Doritos and let their guy go to the corner, go into the snake, hop the highway, bunker our guy, and shoot everybody. And I'm like,
Ugh, painful.
yeah. And then
Yeah.
we had another match where we're up 1-0. Like, so we tied the first one, you know, called out wrong spots, got a penalties, down 3-1, came back, tied it 3-3. I'm like, all right, well, we'll take that tie. The next one, we should have won 2-0, and then we tied it, and the last point, we were down 2-3, and I couldn't concede, and we tied. I'm like, oh my God. So we have to win our last 2 games. We're guaranteed in. So our last game, or second to last, we're up 1-0. The second point, we're winning. And then that's when we had a high tone. Got to call him out. Got to learn how to dive.
Oh, come on, High Tone. We see you out there working all the time. You got to put the
Broke
work
his
in.
gun.
Dive. Oh, what?
Broke his gun diving. Split his wig piece. Bleeding out of his lip.
Oh, no.
Does a good job. Gets into the snake with no gun.
Oh, no.
Moves up a knuckle. We shoot a guy. They shoot a guy of ours. It's 4-on-4 with a broken gun. High Tone's poisoned. He knows it. The other guy doesn't. So we're poisoned for about, honestly, 3-4 minutes. He gets bunkered. 3-on-4. All 3 back spots. Game goes 60 seconds. 60 seconds. Everybody's low on pain. Our guy in the snake corner decides to go into the snake 1, knowing they're in our snake 1, and then dies. And then they shoot our guys real quick. I can see now we have to win in 40 seconds.
Yeah.
We go full send. We shoot everyone. Our guys lollygag. 2 of them are alive. We don't hit the buzzard. That's our tournament.
Oh, goodness. Frustrating. It's a game of inches, though. And, you know, zone control is something we talk about all the time through all the divisions. You watch even, like, the lower level pro teams. That's one of the biggest things that keeps them from making Sundays consistently or keeps them from breaking into the top 4 is you'll see them have advantages on the field, and they just give them back, you know,
Yes.
because they don't have the discipline or they don't have people in the right spots to do the job. But if you earn an advantage on the field and you own a side of the field, you have to have great zone control. That's what all the top teams are really good at.
And even look at Paintball Fit.
Yeah.
They are like, you know, arguably that's what they live on. They
Yeah,
live
absolutely.
on zone control.
Yeah.
And so one of the guys that really helped us out was we had Cyrus.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
who's now on PB Fit. And so we had him for the first event. We didn't have him last event. We had a skeleton squad of what we had the first event. Like, not all our guys. So we're like, we got to get back guys. We got a back guy, but he played on the Dorito side. So, I mean, there's a hole. There's a big hole that
totally.
Cyrus left, and he, you know, was able to quarterback and zone control. And that's just like, it's so simple. It makes the game easy, but sometimes we make the game complicated. Like, well, I was going to have this guy switch, and then I thought this. And I'm like, no, just play in front of you.
Yeah.
Like in basketball,
For sure.
football, like just don't let the guy pass you.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
even have to shoot him. You just got to call out that he's there.
Keep eyes on them.
So
yeah.
that's a struggle. Our D4 team, we're 2-1. We lost the first match. We should have won. And then we had a very good last match. And then yesterday we had a good match. So now we got to play a team. If we win, we move on. If we tie, we move on. If we lose, then it's who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah.
All right, so there's still a chance. Still a chance. You
Yeah.
can move on. Team's in a good spot. And are you handing out any penalties
To our guys.
to your guys for
No,
this weekend?
somebody was super late today. And I'm like, man, like
Tournament day?
Tournament day.
I feel like that's when you hand it out.
I was like,
that
look-
goes to the next practice.
Yeah, so we didn't have to play till 9. The first game was at 7 a.m. I didn't want all our guys to get here because I could see
Okay.
the first day we had a game at 7:43.
Yeah.
There was a game we watched 7 a.m. I told everyone to be here at 5:45. Everybody's here at 5:45, and I'm looking at them, they're just
Exhausted.
tired.
Yeah.
But we only had to play till 9 o'clock, so it was
Yeah.
2 games. So I was like, all right, get some sleep. don't show up at 8:15,
No,
8:20.
Yeah.
And you have the paint, you have you have all this stuff we need.
Yeah.
And, so, and then like his head wasn't in it as much this last game. You know, I put him in a quarterback position. He's kind of
going through the motions.
You need time. You need time to get to the field.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing? Talk to him. Go to my gun. Like, this game's mental, so you need the extra mental time to think about it. So.
Absolutely.
But yeah.
Well, we're rooting for you, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Penalties at the next practice. We'll be looking forward to seeing those. I think he deserves one for being late to tournament day.
Yeah.
I think he deserves one. That's not good. Up to you, though. Ultimately, you're the coach.
Penalties been getting like I felt bad. Like so, one of them for those listening, I penalized my guys for showing up late and I shoot them. Okay. Then they spin the wheel of death. And there's 5 options. One of the options is roulette. So you spin a second wheel, and you have an option of 251 velocity gun, 301, and 351. And I'm like, man, this 351 could get me in trouble.
It could get you
in
in trouble.
So I chronoed about like 328, 331, had him turn around. I shot him in the back, and it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
I shot someone with the 251, and I think that one hurt more.
Yeah.
Just because the velocity, it's like you gotta get shot at the rock, it almost doesn't break. And you're like, oh.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll take the 251.
I will take the 251.
Yeah.
But when that one made a louder thump, but that one just broke.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Well, we enjoy seeing the stories. We enjoy seeing the coaching, obviously. Are you doing anything outside of Sicarios? Do you plan on coaching any other teams?
I coached for this last event. I coached a team called Velocity.
At the ASG event?
I coached them before this tournament, like just a one-dayer. So we played my Sicario D4 team, played them last event.
Okay.
We were down 3-0. It's a Mercy 4. We have to win the match to move on.
Yeah.
So we scored 2 points. There's a minute 20. My guys, we have to win the next point fast and win the next one. And so then we scored off 2 points. We moved on. We won.
Nice.
Right? And it was like, we went from here to there. And I'm like, guys, we can do anything.
Yeah.
We can come back on that.
Yeah.
We can do anything.
Huge.
So that team's like, what did we do? Like, help Rainey. So they paid me to come out for a day. So I went down to Velocity. I worked with them for an entire day. Kind of like, hey, this is what our thought process was. This is what we were doing. This is what you should have done. Right? Let's work on those things that you didn't do.
Nice.
One of the guys I worked with, he has Thursdays off. So he wanted just a private one-on-one session. So I went down there and just spent, I was willing to spend the whole day at about 12:30, about 8 to 12:30. He's like, I've learned enough. I want to do the drills on my own now that you taught me, and we can do it again.
Love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, so this is valuable for listeners too. If you want that type of training, just reach out to some of the pros. If they're local in your area, a lot of the pros are willing and excited to get to work with you. It's cool for us to see the progression, and I've had players that I've done one-on-one trainings with, teams that you're doing stuff with. It's cool to see them grow through the leagues as well. So, reach out, send a message, and worst I could say is no.
Yeah, and I try to give them maximum value. Like, even some of my Sicario guys are like, all right, man, we're getting low on paint. I'm like, cool, we're going to play hopper ball on the hyperball field.
Yeah.
We only have about 50 rounds. All right, we're going to do a drill that only shoots 10 paintballs.
100%.
I'm like, we're not leaving here to the lift close.
Yeah.
If I'm buying a lift ticket, I'm snowboarding all day. Yeah, I may take a break, go get some noodles or something, right? But I'm not done till I'm out of there, right? Too many people are like, I've had it. You haven't.
Yeah, you haven't.
I'm making sure you get max value.
Yeah. Well, you have to train that way as well. Like, it's really important to train harder than you're going to play in the tournament. And most teams don't do that. I would say probably 90% of teams don't do that. They train and go through the motions. And any team that I've ever started working with, I go to their practice, see how they practice, and I go, okay, you're at about 30% of your capacity. You need to be at 100%. Otherwise, how are you going to win on Sunday? We're out here at the WC. It's Saturday is the Premier Division, and D3 Sunday.
Yeah.
But how are you going to win when you've already played 7 matches, you're tired, it's 100 degrees out. I mean, it's cooking. I'm sweating. For anybody that's on the YouTube, we're wet. It's cooking out here.
It's hot.
You're not going to win. I was watching games, and I'm watching players literally lose matches simply because they're tired. You could see it in their body language. You could see they're exhausted. So if you're never practicing like that, I don't understand how you think you're going to win like that in the tournament. You're not going to just magically find it, So you have to, those types of drills, when you get down like a little bit of paint, just do whatever you can to kind of go through a good exercise.
Even just being at the field all day. Like these events, I call them walkathons.
Yeah.
All right, you're on field 2. All right, not at field 1. All right, now we're going to watch this
Big
game.
time.
Now we got 2 sets off.
Big
All right,
time.
we're going to do here. So it's like, I make my guys, we're going to go walk and do high roll. Should we bring paint down here to turn around? Nope, we're going to walk back to the staging area. We're going to discuss what happens. We're going to reset, and we're going to walk again. And then we're going to come back. And I mean, D4, it's tough for some of these young kids because you have to play 2 preliminary matches at the beginning of Sunday. and a minimum of 4 more matches, if not 5.
Mm-hmm.
So you're playing 6 to 7 matches where you on, off, off.
It's a lot.
Yes, it's a full day thing, and I think a lot of guys aren't ready for it, and they're
Totally.
like, oh, it's over, I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. It's a lot. But anyway, Rainey, we'll let you get back to relaxing. Enjoy the horchata. Thank you for jumping on PTG. The listeners are always really excited. You're one of everyone's favorite guests. They're always in the Discord stoked about anything you got to say. So if you can, we'd love to have you on for a legit sit down again. I think it's almost time.
Yep.
Yeah, brother. Thank
good.
you. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Yep. Whoa.
Yes, sir. We got him. Cash money. Let's go, baby.
What's happening?
Out
PTG,
here at the,
baby?
Yeah, you already know. We got the all over print everywhere. It's looking nice in here. We finally got a booth. We're trying to be an actual media company with a nice look. So we're excited about the booth and super grateful to have you, all the other pros out here. You guys crushed it on ESPN. Kind of want to talk to you about that. But first of all, let's talk about Dub C. Mike has been doing one of the most phenomenal jobs of running a tournament series in the world. And it's just so cool to see everybody out here. So how's Weapons doing? How's everything going?
It is great. You know, we came out, Mike started this league, I think 15 years ago now, because he just really cared about the players. Me and Mike, grew up together playing in the Great Western Series.
Yeah.
And, when that kind of West Coast series went away, Mike wanted to have something for the players that was, kind of what we grew up being a part of, that got us into this, that got us, where we ended up going and the journey that we got to go on. And, Mike has really just built and given back. And, he's a great guy, he's a great friend.
The best.
Great for the industry.
Yeah.
And he's just done so much. So, we try and come out here and support, been coming, went a long time ago, and then didn't go for a couple years, but I'm so happy that we started coming back now for, I think 3 or 4 years now. We've been here at all the events. There's so much fun, so many new teams, so many people. It's just a really good time, man.
Well, Weapons is the first one here every event. Y'all get here on like Wednesday, right?
Yeah, Wednesday of the week before.
Of the week before.
Just to like walk
Setting
around,
it up.
when it's quiet, so I can
get a lay of the
vibe,
land.
get the feel.
No, but it's cool to see everybody coming together. We got Mouse and Alex over there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, Kyle and Mouse over there with Tiger Wear. And we got Yeah over at the HK booth.
Yep.
Pops Tacos. We got the the food alley here. And Mike truly cares about paintball. So for the West Coast players and even people traveling in, they get one of the most quality tournament series you could ask for.
Yep. You even have the techs come, right?
Yeah.
Die,
DLX.
Eclipse, and DLX right behind us right here. Those are our neighbors here at the PTG booth.
Yeah, let's go. So we were just on ESPN for Paintball, which is tremendous. I saw you all over the television, which made me super happy, seeing one of my best friends in the world on TV. And I'm just super proud of the sport and where it's going. Talk to us about what it was like to be on ESPN. I know it's been a while, but what an honor, man.
Man, it was so cool just to be on there, and not to be on there, but to see paintball on TV.
Yeah, man,
it was a blessing to actually have been on the show.
Yeah.
But I wish everybody in the league could have been on the show.
Of course.
I wish it was a 5-hour show where we cut up all the games and you got to watch all the games and the people that didn't know paintball who watched the show got to see different players and had more interviews and all the stuff that we try and do with Go Sports, right? But I want to say thank you to everybody who supported the show to try and get our viewership up so we can continue to run it.
Yes.
So that more people could see it and create more interest, and maybe we steer them towards Go Sports,
Yeah.
right? And then they do find that there's personalities and people in the game, that we love, to be excited about, so that way they can, hit up ESPN and say, hey, we want to do more shows,
They liked it. They've been running it back to back to back. They ran it multiple times after the initial airing, so I think we're getting some really good traction, and we just got to keep, like you said, doing a good job of sharing, telling everyone letting people know that we exist. People still think we're in the woods.
Yeah.
We're true athletes. We're professional athletes,
100%.
and it's amazing to see the next frontier coming to life here.
Yeah, and these guys want it. We're out here at the WC Event 3. It's 105 degrees, and there's still 120 teams out here.
Yeah.
People are out here, hydrating, staying cool, getting shade, just for that moment where they can go out there and play this game,
Yes, sir.
for 15 minutes.
Yep,
But,
it's the best.
trying to win this money, trying to have that fun and make those memories, that's what it's all about.
That's it, T. Well, hey, thank you for stopping by. It's
Hey,
great
no
to have
pleasure.
you.
No
Much
doubt.
love.
No
Let's
doubt.
go, Dubsy.
Hey, PTG, follow on Instagram, Facebook, watch the YouTube channel, support my boys, man.
Same with
no doubt.
same with shout out Weapons,
doubt,
everything
baby.
that they're doing in the game. Thank you. You know
What's
what it
happening?
is. Let's go. Appreciate you, T. Yep, that's right. We're live action with Grayson out at the WCPPL. We got Marchie holding it down in the booth. You can see the culture's immaculate. We got the all over print blasting with Play the Game podcast out here. And you're out here helping some squads. Talk about that a little bit.
I'm out here coaching the ASG local team, Long Shots D4. Right now, we have 2 wins and 1 pretty bad loss, but if we win this last one, we'll be in a good place to go into the playoffs.
There we go. The team's mindset's all locked in, ready to go.
I've been really harping on them to just work together. You know, that's a big lesson even for pro teams all the way down to D5 is communication, and it's not just checking the boxes so that you talk, right? It's if you don't hear an acknowledgement of what you say, if you don't hear your call get repeated, never happened.
That's right.
So I've literally just been trying to coach them like, hey, literally sometimes just stop. Whatever you're doing, collect the intel, communicate, have everyone connected, and then make the moves.
It's imperative for your success as a divisional team, even a pro team, it doesn't matter. You've got to also be patient and, like you said, compartmentalize all the information you can and then start distributing it.
Yeah.
If you don't have somebody or a collective of people on the field that are doing that, and they are, you're going to be at a drastic disadvantage. So put that at the top of the pyramid. Got to make sure you're collecting good information. And the squad has one more today to see if you make it on.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so rooting for them. Let's go.
Let's go. Long shots.
Yeah, long shots. So where's the home field for them?
ASG here.
ASG. Okay, so the locals, and you train out here all day long.
Yep, every week.
Aftermath. So talk about how that's been. I know we have a little bit of a long break going into Chicago. How do you make sure that you're staying competitive, doing all the right training in such a long break like this?
Yeah, so kind of like the long shots with Aftermath, we've really been emphasizing teamwork lately.
Yeah.
So really collecting intel, communicating. What's ironic, right, is people think that you're going to make less moves by focusing on that, but you actually open up more moves because you know what's happening and you're not just running blind.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing that we've been working on. We're also doing weekly calls. So every Tuesday we've been doing calls where we review our matches or other people's matches, so we can, not just have our practice where we're playing points and drills and all that stuff, but so we can mentally kind of stay sharp and learn from mistakes and then bring that into our practices to improve.
That's crucial. The video work, we talk about it, me and Marcelo all the time, is how important video is, and you have the capability. It's right at your fingertips.
Yeah.
Divisional is a little bit more difficult even, I would say, because they don't have quite the amount of video data that we do as pros.
Yeah.
But using that, having a weekly call, that's tremendous. Yeah. And the squad, obviously, every weekend you guys are out here playing together.
Yeah. We're lucky. We're all within driving distance, but we have guys from Arizona, Bakersfield, all over LA, Orange County, San Diego, and we just every week converge on over here.
That's amazing. And Wayne, shout out to Wayne. He runs the park. He's been amazing letting us also be a part of the family out here. And Mike Hinman, of course, running one of the best leagues in the world, without a doubt. Talk to me about the Dub C, and this is event number 3. There's one event coming up at the end of the year. How has the culture been out here for the WCPPL and just paintball as a whole with Mike's league?
Yeah, all of my team came from WCPPL, so I'm just kind of forever grateful for that league, and I think it helped turn us into the players that we are, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's super competitive. It's basically semi-pro in the Premier Division.
Yeah.
You got pros, you got semi-pro players. It's great prizes. It's affordable. It's all pretty much local for most of the region, right? It's a well-run event, and it's super smooth. The refs are great. I can't really complain at all about WC. It's amazing for California and all of paintball in general.
The West Coast, this is definitely the biggest league on the West Coast, and it feels like a mini NXL. You got all the vendors. We have Marky from HK Army. You got Tigerware, Todd Martinez with
Violence,
weapons. You got
us.
Violence right here.
Yeah.
We got all the amazing food vendors, and everybody's having a lot of fun. Shout out to Pops Tacos. He's been blessing us with tacos and breakfast burritos. Have you tried them?
Oh yeah, I've been eating Pops Tacos since I started playing D4.
Yeah, legends. Same with
2 years ago?
2 years ago.
Yeah, with Marcelo.
Yeah, even when I was on Oakland, Pops Tacos would always be at all the events, and we'd be having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We're holding it down, having a good time, and you guys have...
It's a blast.
It is a blast.
It's a blast.
We've had such a great turnout of people, and then we've been doing the episodes here, just trying to show love for divisional paintball. So hopefully if you guys win, we'll have you on again to highlight the squad.
That's the plan. I'll see you again later today.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And then is there any projects or anything you got coming up in the next couple weeks? What's Aftermath doing heading into Chicago?
Yeah, so Aftermath, we're still going to be practicing every week. A few of us, we're going to go compete in Europe. So I'm excited to play in Europe with Gladiatori at the last event, and then we go right from Europe to getting ready for Chicago. But I do want to shout out all of our sponsors: JT, Violence, HK, Wayne, Karen, Cody, Woodruff. Just thank you guys so much for helping us do what we do.
Yeah, France is going to be fun. Marcelo's heading out there, Team USA, and it's going to be crazy because there was literally millions and millions of people that were just like out there for the Olympics. Yeah. So there's a lot of energy that's in the area right now.
And the Paralympics will be happening.
Really?
During that week.
Amazing. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, and then Team USA is going to be dominating. Who you're playing with?
Gladiatori.
Gladiatori. Yeah. So good luck to you guys. Good luck to Team USA, and thank you for hopping on the show, brother.
Thanks for having me on.
Let's go. What up, everyone? We're in the PTG booth. We got Christian here. He's guesting with Rising out here at the Wcppl. Also has an amazing podcast, In the Pits podcast. So thank you for everything that you're doing for the paintball culture, the community. How are you enjoying playing the event out here?
It's a hot one for sure. This is actually my second time flying over to WC. I was at the last one as well.
Yeah.
Made quarterfinals, had a great time, so decided to come back and hopefully go a little bit further.
Yeah. You're with you got the Titans jersey on, and you're from Texas.
Yes.
So you're no stranger to the heat, but it is definitely a scorcher out here. Talk to me about how you can, some tricks that you use to combat the heat or just stay effective even when it's scorching hot.
For me, like making sure that you're just doing everything you can to take care of your body. So not going out and smoking or drinking before the event, not just because you're like you have multiple days, you're only playing 2 events on the first day. I'm not drinking alcohol or anything, just making sure I'm only putting into my body what I need to succeed on the field.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's imperative that you, not only the electrolytes we talk about, hydration with water, but you got to be eating some like watermelon or some grapes, something that's going to help you retain all the water and the electrolytes, because if you don't have some fruit with it as well, it's just going to kind of run right through you. So that's another secret that I've always used. Talk to me about the tournament. How has everything been going with the event? You guys doing okay in the tournament?
Yeah, so right now we have 2 wins and a tie. We've got another match. Will be the last game of prelims later today in about an hour and a half or so.
Okay.
But from this point on, we've just been treating it as win or go home. So it's a good mentality to have, just making sure that we leave it all on the field, be super aware of time situations.
That's right.
Yeah, those are the big things, really.
Yeah, and I love that mentality. Like, every game is the championship game. Every game we shoot for perfection, right? You want to be giving everything that you possibly can to be the best version that you can be for the team, and then collectively having a good vision of how we're going to attack the field. And it's not an easy thing to do, as most of you know out there, as divisional players or even pro teams that are struggling. It is a very difficult task. You've got to have your codes dialed in. You've got to have the vision dialed in. Talk to me about how you and your squad go about like getting ready for tournaments and just making sure that when we enter into the event that we're successful.
So the first thing, I guess it's a little bit different in my situation because for this event I'm guesting on another team I'm not typically practicing with.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a unique thing that maybe some other people have to go through as well.
Yeah, definitely. Thankfully, I've been playing. This is my 10th year playing paintball.
Yeah.
So I've used a couple of code systems throughout my time, so it's a little bit easier for me to just, hey, these are the calls. Okay, you use this system. That way, we're all on the same page. That way, if I'm saying Detroit, they're thinking a bunker instead of like a zone call, which it might be in another system. So just making sure all of your calls are on point.
Yeah.
But after that, it's just watch a lot of games. Division 4, you don't play until Saturday. But we're here all day Friday watching Division 3, watching Premier, making sure that we fully understand the field as much as we can so that we know all of those little if-then situations that happen throughout the game.
Totally, and that's when some of the best players in this tournament are also playing too. So you can see them make some moves, their decision making, and honestly, just like any great artists in the world, you incorporate things that work. So maybe you see a player make a certain move and you can incorporate that into your play style. Now let's talk about Texas Paintball. Texas Paintball is thriving.
Oh, yeah.
Talk to me about how everything looks out there, the local scene. I'm actually heading to Texas next weekend to play out at X Factor Paintball Park. So I'll be seeing everyone out there soon. Talk to me about that, what Texas Paintball is like.
So we had the 3rd Wcppl event just 2 weeks ago.
That's right. Shout Shout out to Mike Hinman.
Yeah,
Yep.
Hinman also running that series. A great event. We were very lucky because it rained. And
Yeah.
so it wasn't scorching hot like it is out here.
Yeah.
But it was very, very stiff competition. I was playing in the elite division, which over at Wcppl is kind of like a D3 plus. So not quite premier like they have over here in WC, but it's somewhere between D3 and D2, let's say.
It's competitive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing was, like, there were 10 teams in the elite division, but half of them are either going to be D2 next year or they're a former D2 or semi-pro team. So even though it's like a D3, it's so much more competitive and there's so much more experience across the board.
Yeah, and there's so many teams and players out there in Texas, so you get really good reps and competition, and that's why you're getting these opportunities like you have to, come out and guest in California, get some traveling, get to experience some different cultures, different areas. So that's a lot of fun, and one of the blessings of paintball is being able to travel around, meet new people, and build those relationships. And then speaking of building relationships, you've got your own show, the In the Pits podcast. So talk to me about that. I actually was really grateful I got to spend some time on there with you, had a lot of fun on that. What's it been like being a creator in paintball? And thank you, first of all, for doing that. We know it's not easy, but we need more people, more and more, to help us with getting the word out that paintball is here.
Yeah, it's work, but
it's work.
Yeah, it's work, but at the same time, it's so rewarding. And like, I get asked sometimes, like, hey, is it too much at times to be able to do the podcast and all of your playing? I think it really, one complements the other.
I
like,
agree.
You just build so many connections. You learn a lot of tips and tricks that you might not have picked up otherwise. Like, even things as far as, like, hey, I'm going to register my team as a nonprofit so I can get some tax benefits.
There
Like,
you go.
I wouldn't have had that knowledge or been able to build those connections without the podcast.
Yeah.
But I've been able to connect not just with people in my region, which Texas is huge, but at the same time very separated. It's a couple hours drive to go from like X Factor to Fit or...
All right, we're back. It's so hot out here at the Dub C that the computer keeps showing that thermometer saying that it's melting. So we're back. We cooled the laptop down and we're back at it.
Yeah, it'd be like that out here for sure.
It's sizzling hot. And we were talking about your show, and just want to round that out and say thank you once again for everything that you're doing in the community.
Absolutely.
And I think you were saying something about some projects that you have going up.
Oh yeah, so this upcoming weekend I'm actually holding a Joust event. This will be my second time holding one. Very similar to the Hormesis Joust Dual Tour that they've been doing the last 2 years. I've kind of put my own twist on it. So in the Hormesis version, the generals get 2 trump cards that they can play throughout the match. I've added to that. They can play a couple of other cards as well. So not just trump cards to get players off the field, but I also added cards where, hey, I didn't like that point. I think my guy can beat your guy.
Yeah.
I've got a card to run it back.
Sick.
I've got a card.
That's a good one.
It is a good one.
Redo.
Oh yeah. I've got a card for this time I'm adding a 3-point play where the next point, whoever wins it gets 3 points instead of the usual 1 point.
There we go.
So, and then there's one more. We have a field manager at X Factor, Todd Green. Everybody loves him. He's going to be, we have a celebrity guest card for him.
Todd's amazing.
So,
Todd Green.
So each team, if they play their card, Todd Green comes in and plays for them until he loses.
Amazing. Innovations. That's what it's all about. Staying creative and just having fun with it. So thank you so much for everything that you're doing,
absolutely.
man. And then if you want to do any other shout outs, now's your chance. And thank you to everybody once again who tunes in to Play the Game podcast. We can't do this without you. So keep it rolling.
Yeah, thanks for listening, guys. Shout out. I'm in the Pits Paintball podcast. You can find me on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, Apple Music, all of that good stuff.
Show them the logo. We got the logo right here.
Right here.
In the pits. There we go.
Chest. Yep.
Yep.
Shout out Texas Paintball. Wearing my Sunday band Texas camo, and then my own personal In the Pits on one side. I got the In the Pits logo on the other side.
There we go.
And then shout out my team, Texas Titans. We're currently in first place in Division 3 for the NXL series. We're going for gold this year.
Let's go. And once again, support local, support everything. And if we have strong shows from each region of our country and all over the world, it's just going to help us grow paintball. So thank you for all the content that you're doing.
Yeah,
have fun, be safe. We'll see you at the field.
We'll see you in the pits.
Let's see you in the pits, baby.
All right, everybody. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and listening. If you enjoyed the show, please head over to ptgpaintball.com. Click the orange Patreon link in the corner and support the show. We greatly appreciate it. We have tiers as low as $1.99 a month. That is nothing, guys, and it'll give you access to the Discord, where you get access to the players chat and get to mingle with the entire PTG community. We have tons of different pros in there. Tyler and myself are very active, and it's an amazing way to support the show. We also have amazing other tiers. If you want to be one of the best, want to be a GOAT, sign up for the GOAT tier. It's the greatest way to support us, and each month we do a private live stream show, one-on-one kind of thing, to where it's just the GOATs, and Tyler and myself will bring in some special guests every now and then, but you get to ask us questions in real time, live, on the air, and you get lots of inside juicy news that we don't share on the show. So, as always, we will see you guys very soon.